Hello and welcome to my new tutorial series on step-by-step development of OData with transactional capabilities using the managed scenario of SAP RAP model. In this tutorial series, I will be showing you a step-by-step development on how we should proceed and create a transactional app using the managed scenario given by SAP RAP. Along with the transactional capabilities, we will also try to add few features like the validations, determinations. We will try to add some actions and stuff like that. Okay. If you have not visited my earlier tutorial on read-only application, I would suggest you go through that uh, series that has wherein I have actually explained in detail how you can create a data modeling, how you can define a service definition, service binding, and view the application. To start with this application, what I will be doing is I will be creating a transactional app to hold my contact details, okay, wherein the contact will have the normal contact details. I will try to add the create, update, delete functionalities, try to add some additional functionality of setting that as active or inactive. Uh, also try to add the search capabilities and stuff like that. So these steps would be similar to what we had in our read-only application, but with an additional uh, step of declaring a behavior definition which will allow us to add the functionality such as create, update, delete, actions, determinations, validations, etc. To start with, let me show you what we are going to build. So as you can see, my target is to create a database table for contact wherein I want to actually display a value help as well for one of the fields called gender. So that will be again uh, based on the data element and the domain created for gender. And then we will also create a value help CDS entity. Last time in our read-only application, we have used the already created uh, entity. So this time we are going to create our own entity and utilize it as okay in this thing, and then create the interface entity, projection entity. We will also create a new artifact that you can see here, which is nothing but a metadata extension. What metadata extension allows us is to separate the UI annotations from the entity itself so that we have a separate entity related coding done for the CDS in the CDS view, and the UI related annotations we can maintain separately in the metadata extension. Okay. The this one that I have shown here is will be another table that we will look into going ahead in this series as a separate additional association for addresses that can be linked to contact. The plan is to have a fully functional application, transactional application created for contact first. Once this is functional, I will show you how you can go and add an additional associated entity to our current application. Now, as part of data modeling, we will be creating only these many artifacts, but as part of our behavior, we have to now create a behavior for the root entity. So in our case, the root entity is contact, and we will be creating a behavior definition. And behavior definition, you will be learning a new language called behavior definition language, BDL, and behavior definitions are created using BDL languages. It generally, behavior definition will allow us to give the behavior characteristic. That means locking or making the fields mandatory, uh, making the fields read only, all those stuff, along with the standard operation of create, update, and delete. Okay. And the behavior, once it is defined, it should be implemented in a implementation class that is also called behavior pool or a local handler class. We will create a behavior implementation for our behavior definition, and then finally expose that to a projected entity. I will also show you that how you can expose only few of the functionalities that you have defined, so that uh, the end user will not be able to uh, get all the functionalities that is needed. So this will show you how you can limit your functionalities to be exposed. And then we will actually create a service definition. This is nothing but just exposing the entity that we have already created. In our case, there will be only one entity called contact that we'll be exposing. Finally, we will be creating a service binding with OData created with UI version 2 protocol. And for service consumption, we will not be creating any Fiori application, but we will be using the preview functionality needed to view the application. Let me know in the comment if you people are interested on the Fiori application creation. Then I can think of creating another series on how to create a Fiori application using the Fiori element in SAP BTP using Business Application Studio. With that, let's now get into the system and see how we can implement it. First thing what we have to do is we have to create a package for our new application that we are going to create. So I am creating a ABAP package, that we need to create. We'll say okay, the ZMAKS, this will be transactional application. Okay, transactional package for transactional application for contact. Click on next, next, select the TR and you say finish. So now our transactional application is created. All the artifacts that we will be creating as part of this series will be stored in this application, this package. The reason I am creating a separate package is that we will be it will be easy for you to maintain, because all the related artifacts are now contained in one package and easy to be viewed or found. You can find it easily. Okay, so now let us, once the package is created, let me now define our first artifact, and that is nothing but a database table. To create a database table, you just again say right click, new, other ABAP repository object, find for tables, and that database table, and our name would be ZMAKS contact, and this is for managed scenario. So contact table. Okay. Next, you say select your TR, say finish. What this will do is it will actually give us a already predefined template wherein the client is already given to us. Okay. Now what we will have to do is add our fields that we need to create. In this case, what I need is first thing is my key as contact ID, which will be of type sys UUI x13. Why I have taken UUID is because I need RAP framework to manage the generation of the key fields, which uses the GUID ID concept, and that is the reason I am maintaining this contact ID as sysuid underscore x16 type. This will be not null. Okay, then we should have first name, first name as first name colon abap care, say for example 20. Let me just check. So I already have created it. Let me just copy this from there and show you what we need to create. Okay, so this is what we need to have. What it will have is it this end user text and label will give the label to our field names. Okay, now the fields that I need to create is the first name, middle name, last name, gender, date of birth, age, telephone and email, and whether the status is active, yes or no. Apart from this, I am just adding these four admin fields as part of my table. This will help me to use the e-tag functionality. And e-tag functionality in RAP terminology helps us to log the data depending on the last changed at, so that one user if is trying to uh, edit the record when somebody else is actually doing the changes, it will prompt that the data is being changed. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to create a data element and domain for gender. So how I can do it is, it says it is, you see it doesn't exist. So what we can do is we have to just create the data element first. Now how we can do that is we again have to go and right click on this, say new other repository object, and we say data element, and we have a data element there. So let's give the name ZMAKS data element for gender, the description data element for gender. Click on next, select the TR and say finish. This will show us the data element where we give the header, headings, short, medium and long, and heading also as gender. Now this will give us the type name. Now here you can actually go and create your own or select whatever is already existing. I will say okay, I want to create data element. Okay, and gender. Okay, he says no data element gender is active. So that means we have to go and uh, create it first before we actually assign it here. So again, the same thing. Let me go in new ABAP repository object, and here you say domain, and you will find the domain here next, ZMAKS domain DO for gender, and description is the domain for gender. Click on next, select your TR and say finish. Now this will open one more uh, screen where the you should be able to give the gender related information. Now my type will be, it will be a character type with a length as 1. Okay, this I will say okay, it is a case sensitive, or I will say no, it is not case sensitive, always have it as a uppercase, and I should be able to define some of the values here. I'll say okay, male, M for male, then F for female, uh, L for LGBTQ plus plus whatever. Then I will have one unspecified, uh, and one I will say and not not willing. Okay, to specify. Okay, so these are few of the values we can, as and when needed, we can come here and actually uh, go on adding it as and when it is needed. Now let me just activate this first. So if the gender is if the domain is activated, the domain is activated, go to gender now and try to activate the gender. You see, oh, it says it is showing me there is some error. What is the error? DTEL was not activated. Why? Let me browse GMAKS DO. Oh, I had not selected the proper one. Okay, so now since I have selected the domain, it has given me that this is the domain with character 1 there. Let me activate this, and now this is also activated. You can see here at the bottom, and this will be without an asterisk here. Now we will come to the table. The table is still not active. You see there is a star there. Okay, now let us try to activate this as well. So this one is GMAKS data element gender. Okay, and now everything looks fine. Let me activate this quickly, and the table is activated. Okay, now you can actually go and open with data preview to see if there is any entries. Definitely it will not have anything. So we have successfully created our first artifact called the contact table. Okay, now let us try to create our first interface on this table, which is nothing but our interface CDS entity. For that, right click it and say new data definition, and our name would be ZMAKSI underscore contact M interface view for contact in manage scenario, and the reference object is the table I have already given. Click next, select the type, click next, select the TR and click next. Now here we will be going and using the define view entity. You see define view is absolute now, so you use define view entity, click on finish. This will again give us a template, but this time since we have already created a given a reference, it has actually taken the reference field and it has taken all the field names as well. Let me press Shift F1 to format the code and Control F3 to activate, or you can click on this button to activate as well. As you can see, now this one is also activated. We can see the object is activated now. Okay, so far we have actually created a database object. We have created an interface view on top of database object. Now let us go and create a projection view on our interface view. So again, we will go and say new data definition on our interface view, and this will be gmaks underscore c underscore contact and projection view for contact, and this is manage. Click on next, select the tr, next, and here instead of now taking define view, we say take it as a projection view and define a projection view and say finish. Now since we have already given the interface name, it has already taken uh, the uh, field names from our contact interface view. Now with uh, once we define this, okay, we have to actually, you see it is giving an error for every view that we define, and this will be our root view, okay, because this is where our whole thing will start, and the error is showing is that it does not have, or even our, this should be the root entity. Control F3 to activate this. Now come back here, we will say provider contract provider, uh, provider contract, and here we will select transactional query because this is a query projection. You can then activate this and your transaction your projection is ready. Now in order to create the UI annotations, we need to actually create a separate artifact called metadata extension to, in order to have the metadata extension created. You need to first define annotation uh, in our consumption entity. The annotation is at the rate metadata allow extension is equal to true. Once you have given this, what it shows is it says that for this particular entity, uh, metadata can be actually created as a separate file. So let us go and now select this on the left hand side, and you see you have new metadata extension. Select that metadata extension, give the name gmaks MDE metadata extension, or ME for metadata extension for contact. Um, I'll say metadata extension for contact managed. Click next, select the TR, click next, and here you have to select annotate entity. You see we also had annotate view, but we'll be, since we are creating the entities, we will select annotate entity and we say finish. So this will again create a layer. It will always give a layer. Now layer is something that will have five values. Now core is something that generally SAP uses. Customer is the for the customer when we are actually working for somebody else as a customer. We are the partner for SAP, so we can actually use either partner or customer. But since you are creating this uh, artifact yourself, even core will work here. Okay, so let me take it as, for example, partner here. Even the core will work. And now what you have to do for the element list, select this, get the context help by pressing control and space, then select the insert all elements. Now, as we have seen, in order to have the UI defined, we are just the values that needs to be displayed in the list report. We already had the UI slash line item uh, annotation that we have to use with position is equal to 10 in this case, and the label we have to give if it is needed. I'll say contact ID. Okay, similarly you can have it for all other object. Let me quickly do that. We are done with our metadata extension. So far what we have done is we have created a database table to hold our contact detail, and this will have our first name, middle name, last name, gender, date of birth, age, telephone, email, and whether the record is active, yes or no. Now the gender, for gender we have created a separate data element, which in turn will be using a domain, and domain will have the list of genders that we allow in the system. And then we have created an interface view on top of our database table to as a root view entity that will actually expose all the fields that are needed. Similarly, we have also defined a projection view uh, on the interface view with provided contract as a transactional query, and we have also exposed everything, each and every field there. Now, based on this projection view, we have defined a metadata extension that will have all the notations for UI. Going ahead, we will also see how other annotations that we can define. So I will just stop here for today, and in the next uh, session we will continue from here as the video is getting longer. Please do practice, and if you have any issues, do comment. I'll try to read the comment and try to revert back as early as possible. With that, thank you and happy learning.